Nothing lasts forever. Today on Honestly, Dear Listener, we're talking about seasons, both creative and restful.
And we're also talking about Australian pet birds and pulsating termite queens.
Oh, hey. How you doing?
Happy Friday. I'm doing well. How are you doing, Miss Australia?
Oh, I am down under.
Yeah, you are. Emily got to jet set off to Sydney, Australia, and she's basically taking the continent by storm. So
Yeah, without doing anything at all but walking around. So, I mean, people are like, "Are you Emily?" but in an Australian accent, and I'm like, "How did you know?" No,
wait,
that's not happening.
Are you Emily? Is that how they sound? Are you Emily?
Oh no.
Or no. So funny.
Well,
to say.
it's really freaking gorgeous here, and I feel that my old woman tendencies come out in places like this because there's so much to see. But for the last 3 days, I've done the same exact thing, which is immediately walk to the Sydney Opera House and go to the Botanical Gardens, and they're so huge. Like, there are miles. It feels maybe it's not literal, but there are miles to explore of all these different kinds of plants and birds. And speaking of birds,
Yes.
I saw a cockatoo, like a giant ass cockatoo, on the lawn of one of the botanical gardens, and I was like, whose pet is missing? And I stood there. I have so many videos and photos of this bird, just with its little yellow dude. And I was like, somebody's missing you, you know? And
Yeah.
I looked around and there was someone mowing the lawn, and I was going to be like, did you know that there is a pet bird? Someone's right here. And I thought, before you do that, I spent at least 5 minutes contemplating how to do this before I looked up are cockatoos native to Australia? And it said they sure are. So
Yep.
I
so funny.
Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, and a lot of good food. I had Malaysian food yesterday. Freaking delicious. We had Japanese food the day before because I am the closest to either of those countries that I've ever been before. So it's just a short 8-hour flight to Hong Kong also. And so, yeah, it's insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you get to be there. So it is just we had to kind of fiddle with the time zones because what time is it there right now?
'Tis 1 p.m.
Okay, because it's definitely 8 p.m. here.
And it's Wednesday, by the way.
And it's Tuesday here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird. Anyway,
it's crazy.
That's so cool that you get to be there. Let's talk about our weird things. Would you like to go first?
Let's do it.
Okay.
No. Okay. I want you to do it.
Okay, so here's my weird thing. I was on Instagram, like I do, like I am, and I came across this post, and on the post, I think it was one of those nature things, and David Attenborough or somebody like that was narrating it, if you will, and he is talking about, number one, all you see in the frame is this giant, wet-looking, pulsating thing, and it's just massive. And apparently, it's a termite, but not just any termite. It's the queen termite. And apparently, they can live for 50 years, longer than any insect. And she lays there with the king. The king is like this little guy next to her, and he mates with her frequently. That's his only job, is just to mate with her. Because what ends up happening is she has these huge ovaries, and all she does for, let me get this right, I wrote it down, 25 years, 24 hours a day, she lays eggs every 3 seconds. One egg every 3 seconds. 24 hours a day for 25 years. And I was so horrified by this because I keep thinking, that's not a life, girl. That's not a life. But apparently she's here for it. And she's surrounded by all of her babies and they just tend to her all day, all night. So there it is, a pulsating queen termite who lays eggs every 3 seconds.
Lays the golden eggs. Okay,
Yeah.
so my question is, if they live for 50 years, do they just like screw an egg for 50, or do they like retire at 25 and then they just have sex for fun? Like, what happens?
Yeah. Okay, so the first half there, she's pumping out eggs. And the second half, she's like on a Carnival cruise ship, like living her best life.
I mean, I feel like I relate to that termite because...
Yes, please.
I mean, my kid's 19 and now I'm in Sydney just having sex for fun. And I am also a large pulsating thing.
Whatever.
That was my chair. It also just went right when I did that. I think it's really good that I can relate to everybody.
You cannot relate to the queen termite.
I mean, I am an empath.
So anyway, I was horrified. I sent this to a bunch of people and I was like, I can't. And then it like kind of colored the rest of my day. So what's your weird thing?
I love that. My face already hurts from smiling. Yes. So mine is bird related. So yesterday I'm just bird obsessed right now. I was walking. So my husband's here for work. His coworker's girlfriend got in yesterday, and we took yet another walk to the Sydney Opera House. And I all of a sudden was like, is there like coffee, or do you see like some like dirt or something on my face? And she's like, oh yeah, I don't know what that is. And I like wipe a bunch of it off and it's just like dirt. And then I looked down and I had it on my shirt and on my purse. It was bird poop, and I had a bird shit down my face and onto my purse and arm. But oddly enough, I'm like, this bird really probably should drink more water because it was really just like coffee grounds.
Well, you know that birds poop and pee, like it all goes out together from one orifice.
Yeah, but it was like there was only a little liquid. I'm just concerned. So I found the bird,
Emily,
and I'm just kidding.
And you fed it water.
You know, I'm like, I'm a voice coach. I think you need some hydration.
Yeah. Okay, so wait, you did it. How did you not feel the defecation on your face?
No. I don't know. I wonder if it was just like because it was windy or something. And I must have felt that there was something because I like, and then my friend was like, you've got some on your nose still.
Oh.
It was a drive-by fruiting.
Is it one of those things like I always wonder, like you see people's butt cracks in public. You know, butt cracks just happen. But like I'm always like, do you not care that your butt crack is out, or do you not feel it? Like surely you feel it and you just don't care, which by the way, that's cool, whatever.
If you're like, but is it like the princess and the butt crack? Like you can't feel it? The pee. I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. Like yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I rolled over on my phone the other day, and it took me a minute to realize that my phone was under my butt, and I was like, I think that I would not like win the pee contest of the princess and the pea. And so I think about that with butt cracks. I'm like, maybe it's just when you get to a certain age or size, your nerves are just like, it doesn't matter. Like,
well, I don't think that your butt has like the we're not talking about the crack. We're talking about the actual cheeks. I don't
Mhm.
think there's a lot of circulation in the cheeks.
Mhm. Mhm.
And because I feel like my, this is TMI, but
Come
I
on.
feel like our people can handle it. Can they? I feel like when I feel my butt, most of the time it's colder
Yes.
than like my leg
Yep.
or my lower back or
Yep.
whatever it is. So that leads me to believe that there's less circulation there, which would make it, that would coincide with your theory. You just
Mhm.
can't
Mhm.
feel it,
Cold cheeks, warm heart.
right? Well, I'm glad that we figured that out.
So maybe that's why I didn't feel it on my cheeks.
Maybe you need more face circulation.
As in my facial exercises. I don't know if you could hear that audibly into the microphone, but if you could, I'd imagine that wasn't a good sound. It was just me moving my face. Don't worry. Yeah, so that's my interesting thing I was shit on. And
Nice.
normally it's just emotionally, but yesterday it was physically. So,
Nice.
mhm, mhm.
That's awesome. Well, Emily, what do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about seasons and not
I'm not gonna.
525,600 minutes. Not
So
that.
excited to do it.
Don't. I can't handle it. I'll have that stuck in my head for the next 6 or 7 months.
Yep. We're not doing seasons of love.
No, but you thought it.
I
I
did.
know you thought about it when we just said it. Okay.
Oh,
Anyway,
you did the melody. Oh,
I told you not
what?
to do it so I could do it.
So you did it. What in particular would you like to talk about seasons?
I want to talk about the fact that I feel like in creativity and in life, I feel like we get stuck in this is forever mode. And I think that can be a good thing, actually. And I think it can definitely be a bad thing. And um, I will tell you why, at least, like this topic feels relevant to me at this very moment. I am, in Australia doing a thing that I'm like, whoa, this is incredible. And lately I've been traveling a lot because my husband's job has been taking him places and I get to stay in the room for free. And um, I I was resting after walking like 10 miles and looking at Instagram. And I was like, oh man, I really need to be making more videos. I don't edit enough. I need to like get on all this stuff I'm supposed to be doing, and had all this guilt, which is just the theme of my life. And then I realized like, or I need to be making more money. I've thought about that a lot. I'm in a season right now, and that season is moving around a lot. I'm not in one spot. I moved to New York and I've barely been there. And this time in my life is not going to be forever. And that's kind of good because I've got other shit to do. And that's also like bad if I don't enjoy this time right now as the season that I'm in. Like, so I I have a lot of different like pathways that this is running in for me lately, but I just wanted to talk about it because I think as creatives, it's like I'm in writing season. I'm in, you know, big time labor. It's like a farm, you know?
Mhm.
So
So
yeah,
you feel like what season are you in right now? Were you saying that you're in writing and labor
I
season?
think I'm in like travel season where
Yeah.
I'm getting to I wanted to travel like extensively my whole life, and I've gotten, a couple opportunities to do that. But right now it's coming through. And so I think I've been trying to like heavily guilt myself out of enjoying it when
Mhm.
I'm like, lady, you wanted to do this your whole life. You are in this season right now. Just enjoy it. Um, and figure out how to make the rest of life happen, um, as you can handle it within this season. So
Right.
What about you? What's your season life like right now?
Well, I'm heavily in raising children season. It's a long season. It's
Mhm.
really short because I feel like I just squeezed out those kids like yesterday and they're already 8 and 10 and I can't believe it. So it's a season of being very interrupted all the time. Like I love having long swaths of uninterrupted, just creative time. And that's what I was used to before I had kids. And that's one of the hardest things for me now is being interrupted or you have time to create, but it's 2 hours. I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't create in 2 hours is what it feels like. And, but so that's kind of if I zoom out and look at the big picture, that is kind of the arc of what's happening right now, the raising kids season. But if I zoom in a little bit into maybe this season, meaning like the next 3 months or whatever, I feel like I am, well, there's once again, the migraine stuff. So I have to really approach, because I want to drive myself sometimes. Um, and I want to approach that with a lot more kindness and empathy because so much of the self-talk has been like, well, just like get up and like just keep going, even though you don't feel well. And I'm going, no, that feels disrespectful on some level. Like I have a migraine. I can't do this right now. And so, but once I get the migraine thing figured out, I am going to be transitioning, I think, into um, making season,
Mm.
doing this podcast more, getting to talk to more people, making, sewing things, hopefully. But I'm just
Mhm.
frustrated because I'm honestly, I'm frustrated right now because I I feel like I don't have as much time for those things as I want to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. How how long have you been having the migraines?
Um, they've been ramping up over the course of what, like maybe 6 years or so.
Ugh.
Um, like before when they first started ramping up, they were like once a month or so. And now it's like I have more migraine days than I do not migraine days in a month.
Wow.
So it's really frustrating and it feels debilitating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Will you have an appointment soon?
I do. I'm going to the neurologist. I never thought I'd be so excited
Uh,
as I am.
you need some solutions, that's for
Yeah.
sure. And that dark cloud of chronic pain can cover every area and every season of your life. My dad had we were in a bad accident when I was um 15 and 14, and my dad was disabled from the accident. He had multiple surgeries and donor bone and just had a headache for like 20 years.
Wow.
And I I know from being in that house with him how much that can just cloud every minute, and I'm just sorry that you're dealing with it
Thanks.
and working through that guilt again
Yes.
surrounding something that's not that has like you can't control it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
That still doesn't stop the self-talk though, the feelings of guilt. I should, it's the whole shoulding on myself.
Mhm.
I should be able to get up and just power through, power
Mm.
through, power through. Um, and then I can't, and then I get mad. So,
Yeah.
it's also like, the mental health is taken a hit for sure because when you are laying in bed or when you have chronic pain, that lends itself to like I when you don't feel good, it affects your mental health. Period.
Yeah.
It just does. And then when that doesn't go away, it gets worse. So, and when that happens, when you are experiencing depression, which I have been struggling with the past month or so. The depression says, welcome to your new life. This is what it's going to be forever. You think this is a season? Hell no. This is your new reality. And because I have tools in my toolbox that I've cultivated, am just clenching on to the one that's like, that's not true, right? You know that we've been through crap before, right? We've always come out of it. So I'm trying to tell myself, too, that there's another season that is out there that is not this one.
Oof, that is so hard. I'm sorry that you're going through it. And it's true. There are more seasons coming and sub-seasons as well. I think that's really hard. It's like that you were saying, like when I zoom out, it looks like this. And when I zoom in, it looks a lot different. And there are pieces within those seasons that are happening and movement happening. And I think those sub-seasons, if you will, make way for other things to happen. But yeah, I think I stress myself out with sub-seasons, and I just made that up. I'm sure that exists.
I love it. And by sub-seasons, you mean like the little season, like the zooming in season, right? Okay, gotcha.
Like I'm traveling a lot right now, but I'm also really focused on trying to, revamp my studio into another type of season. And that's like, that's a sub-season of this really big thing that's happening. So yeah, I'm just making that up. But I think it's hard because, focusing on one thing is difficult. And I think it sounds really boring for a person like me to be like, oh, we're just going to focus on this thing. We can do it all. We just can't do it all at once. And I keep trying to remember that as well. So it's like, I am excited to work in New York, but I can't be, this is a squeaky seat. Sorry.
I can't hear
be,
it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I can't be working in New York and traveling.
Right.
So I am in travel season and I have to remind myself, or else I start getting really weird about the fact that I'm not doing this other thing that's really super important to me. And so I think for me, a challenge has been like allowing myself to enjoy, like I said, the season that I am in, because there's so much joy to be had. You know what I mean? It's like raising kids. That's huge. I mean,
oh, yes.
It's really hard some days to find joy raising your children. And that sounds messed up, but it's just the truth. And we talked about that when we were, when we talked with Bren. It's like, but there's still joy to be had in there. And it's also okay to not be, toxically positive and be like, I've always wanted to be a mother and, this is the best thing in the world. And sure, I feel like I don't want to get out of bed, but that's fine, So anyway, I just kind of rattled on. But yeah, I think
I'm with you.
Diving into to that joy. And I feel like the pendulum is always swinging, and accepting that it's always swinging is good. I don't know.
I went to breakfast with a friend a month ago or a couple months ago, and she was talking about how she wishes she could be one of these people who like gets up in the morning and is just super like, they have this schedule and they're super dedicated to the schedule, and they just and they get their work done, and now I go to the gym now. And she's like, but I'm not. And why can't I be that person? And we were talking about it, and we were like, wait, like, look at all the things around us that, like, the trees don't just keep creating leaves forever and ever and ever. Like, they have to have a resting season. We're surrounded by cycle and season, and so it would make sense that you have these times where you're just bursting with stuff that you're making, And then other times when you're like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I can't get out of bed right now. I'm going to lay down and I'm going to read a novel. Like that
Mhm.
makes so much sense. Why are we so, not that we allow, not that we're allowing the seasons to do this or anything, but like, why are we like, oh, of course, it's fine for everything in the natural world to do that, except for us, because somehow we're not a part of the natural world or something. Like we expect so much performance all the time that we don't give ourselves the space to rest.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and we're so much more productive in the long run, I think, when we allow that time
Mm-hmm.
to rest. And that I mean, that's something I struggle with. We've talked about before. I have a really hard time just being. Um and I think it's interesting too because it seems like the worry surrounding what the shoulds really doesn't actually make us feel any more like doing anything. And in fact, it kind of tips the scale the other direction. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I need to be in working season. Well, too bad you're in relax season at the moment.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like I've wanted really badly also to have that like strict schedule. And weirdly enough, recently I've been like, oh, I'm craving it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's for some reason it has shifted for me from I want to into like I genuinely am like, oh, I want to do this. Like I today even like wrote out a goal for how to navigate my days no matter where I am. And it felt so like exciting to me to do that and not like it's a trap, you know?
Right.
Um, but I can't tell you how many times I've sat down with my notebook and tried to create some kind of schedule for myself that felt like good. It's like I'm just not there at the moment, you know?
Yeah. So
Um,
maybe within the traveling subseason, your brain and body are ramping up for a really active, leafy season
mhm,
creatively.
mhm,
And also that's not bad either. I mean there's nothing bad. There's nothing
mhm,
good, there's nothing bad about any of this. It just is. Um
mm,
that it's not like the creating time is good, the resting time is bad, or vice versa.
mm.
It just is what it is, and so allowing ourselves to let it be what it is and ride that wave of, yeah, I'm going to sit down and I want to make a schedule or a goal.
Mhm. And knowing that it won't be this way forever
Mm-hmm.
is so hopeful and also so motivating to savor those moments that it won't be like this forever. You know, like, so
Right.
I'm going to enjoy this moment while I can. And I think, like, with your headache situation, obviously, we're not rooting for this. I'm going to enjoy my migraines while I can because pretty soon they're going to be gone. But to be able to be like, this is a season that I am working my way out of.
Mhm.
It's so powerful. I mean, there's nothing, I just love that you were like, yeah, and it's not good or bad. I think a lot of us have preferences in actual seasons, right? Like I
Mhm.
am not a person who loves winter, but winter is something that needs to happen. And if I sit in my apartment and wish it was warm tomorrow and move around a lot so that I can make it warm right now, it's like that doesn't change the fact that it's cold outside and that this earth needs that time,
Right.
you know? So I might as well start to learn to ski or get like a fun routine that I enjoy within this season, um, and enjoy it because it won't be like this forever, you know?
Yeah. It
So,
just feels so it feels so unfair because if I'm honest with myself, I want control of my body. I want control of my seasons. I want to say when is my winter, when is my spring, and all the things, right?
mhm,
And I want to do that. But I don't get to determine those things. Like there have been times when You could not keep me from folding the laundry. There was a laundry basket full of laundry, and I was all, let me have it. Give it to me. I'm going to put it away. But then, like, the other day, I passed a laundry basket, and it was on my list. You put that laundry away. There was no way it was happening. I was doing everything I possibly could. I was talking to my body. I was trying to tell myself, this is not something you have to do. This is an opportunity, like doing all the things, right? And my body was like, hell no. And don't you come at me with this task till tomorrow. And you know what? I freaking laid down, was like, okay, but it's super annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I suspect if I had control over my own seasons, I would either sleep myself into oblivion or work myself into the ground.
Yeah, that is a really good point. Okay, so I'm pretty freaking anxious. If you don't know that, I am a pretty anxious person. Do you ever get afraid that if you accept yourself too much, you'll just accept yourself into a turd pile and never do anything?
Yep. Absolutely.
I accept that I am a piece of shit. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
just going to lay here like a piece of shit does. I think that, like, I love the idea that you could just be like, not laundry season today. Like, you know what I mean? But then I'm like, but what if you just accept that every day? And then, like, you know, like, I'm depressed right now. I'll be depressed forever because I accept myself for being depressed. Am I getting too weird with this? Like,
no, not at all. I think this is a lot of people's concern. And when I talk to clients during life coaching, so many of them say the exact same thing. If I don't chastise myself into doing something, what is going to ensure that I don't just become a blob on the couch? And I find myself saying that to myself as well. Like, oh, I need that thing, or I need my anxiety to keep me in check, or whatever it is. And I kind of wonder if we just accepted ourselves, if instead of doing something for the fear of it, or, you know, like because we goaded ourselves into doing it, if we wouldn't do a thing out of joy or some other thing. There has to be more motivators than fear or fear of punishment, even self-punishment. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it gets back down to like trusting yourself.
No, not that again.
That, like, I at my core am a person who has love and joy and action and rest and all of this, and it's okay if I can be in this warm season and not be like, what are you doing to prepare for winter, you asshole? You know, like.
Yep. Yeah, but that takes so much trust in yourself.
I don't have it, and I don't have enough of it yet.
I don't either. I don't. Yeah. So what am I doing? Like, I think it's interesting you were talking about, you know, even though I'm not resting in this or like enjoying this migraine season, there are other things that I can use this season for. And so I was like, and it sounds so Pollyanna, which I hate that phrase because I love that movie.
That movie's so good and so sad.
So good. Oh my gosh, I know. I would be good if I could turn it off like 20 minutes before it's over. Anyway.
I like the cake scene. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Wait, what's the cake scene?
Where she's out at the fair and they're like, they have these giant cakes and everyone can like come get a piece
like
of
a
cake.
big slice, like a massive slice.
Yes. Yep. It's like these pieces are like this
huge.
And it was a dream when I was a kid. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So it sounds so
Pollyanna.
It sounds so Pollyanna to say, you know, like, well, find the good in this. But like, sincerely, what can I learn from this kind of shitty season of being like, and I'm in bed and I'm hurting? Like, I feel like I have a much better understanding of people who go through chronic pain.
Mm.
I have a much better understanding. Like, I don't usually, like I said before, walk through the depression door. It's usually the anxiety door.
Mm.
So, like, now it's the depression door that's open and beckoning me inside.
Mm.
And so I feel like I can relate better to people who have depression. And so I'll take it.
Mm.
Question mark. I
I'll
guess
take
so.
that depression. I will walk
No.
through the dark and beckoning door.
I'll take the learning from it. I don't want to live there forever. I don't want to be in that season forever. But like,
You won't be.
yeah, I'm really hoping to not be. But you're right. Everything comes to an end at some point.
Mm-hmm.
That felt really dark.
Well, as you talk
Everything
about from,
ends.
oh my God. Yeah, I had a thought that just disappeared. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, I think that reframe sort of deal, and with the like guilt versus shame and all that, the stuff we've talked about. I am depressed is not like, that's not a characteristic of who you are. It's I feel depressed right now.
I feel depressed.
And it's okay, because that a feeling comes and goes, and it's not a part of your identity, you know, like, so if you're going through this, you're feeling this, you can use it to relate to people. But you're not Carrie, my depressed friend, because you know, like, and then she became Eeyore, and we never saw her again. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
Feeling it is, yeah. I just thought, I don't know why, I just was thinking about Spanish and like the soy, or you know,
the star.
and it's like, our emotions are a star, our seasons are a star, and
Yes.
soy. Okay, like, I'm.
For anyone that doesn't know Spanish, like Emily and I, just kidding.
Obviously,
know a
we're
little.
so culturally classy right now. Please.
Soy means I am in Spanish. Estoy, or estar, means, once again, I am, or estoy. And soy means I am, as in identity. Estoy, on the other hand, is I am, but it's kind of like, it's not all the time. It's like
I'm cold.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of I am a woman. And so I like that. I love how different languages, like, kind of buried within those languages, are these different forms that talk about different things that you can't express in English like you can in Spanish. I love that idea of soy versus estoy, or soy versus estoy. That's really cool. I like that. And that gives me some hope. So,
well, I'm really glad. And
yeah.
I think I have to remember and remind myself of these things. I would say it's daily, but hourly, momently. Like, earlier today, I felt so much clarity surrounding things. And then an hour later, I was like, oh my God, I am a worthless person who doesn't do anything. And congrats on getting 10,000 steps today. But what are you? And then I'm like, hi, remember an hour ago when you were like, I'm enough right now? Like, I hope that everyone's hearing this and being like, hey, I mean, we keep hearing like, you are enough. And once in a while it hits differently, you know, and you're like, I am. But a lot of the time it's like, yeah, okay, but I'm not. You know, our seasons make up who we are. And I think that the like, where I'm going with this as well is kind of, we are so, I don't know, social media human nature makes us feel like we instantly have to be somebody or something. And it's not because we're lazy that we want instant gratification. That's what human beings work off of. And like, but all those nows make up full seasons that you have to pass through and work through. And you're going to keep getting this back, both in a good way and a bad way. So it's, we might as well enjoy it, I suppose. Did that
So
make
how are
sense?
you? Yeah. How are you planning on enjoying your traveling season? Since you have to be in Australia.
Isn't that the dumbest shit? Like,
I get it though, dude.
you guys, this sounds like I am just like the little meanie in my brain is like, you privileged bitch. And I think it's because, I don't know. So I grew up really pretty freaking poor and didn't, like, I've always dreamed of this and always believed that I would one day get to do this stuff. But there's this little thing in the back of my head that's like, you don't deserve this. Like, you didn't get this. My husband's on a business trip. Or like, people are going to think that you have a lot of money and you have the nerve to like feel good about yourself. That is what's plaguing me when I look at the Sydney Opera House. Isn't that like, and then I'm like, you're such a privileged bitch that you're like having this problem that's not a real problem. But it's like, I think that this version of things is what limits us in everything. That we can't, I mean, at least I can't be happy sometimes because I have to be wrong about something, or I have to be feeling guilty about something, or I have to look at what I'm not doing so that I don't like become too happy and too complacent, And so I think I'm just taking a look at, this is a long way to answer this, but taking a look at that and saying like, I can take a walk here. I deserve to be happy. Like, it makes me want to cry. It's like, this is, almost 40 years I'm allowed to go be happy and do stuff I like. And that doesn't mean I'm going to stop working or stop being productive, because I'm still working. Here I am doing this. I'm teaching lessons. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Let things be in their place for the time that I have them,
Yeah.
And, I raised a wonderful kid who is 19. And I look back and I think a lot of moms relate to this. I was so stressed when my kid was a baby that I felt like I really didn't enjoy that time because I was just trying to survive it. And if I could relive any part of that, I would go back to when my baby was a baby and just have a few moments of like, this isn't going to be like this forever in a good way. I guess I'm teary this episode, but it's like, I think that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad that you are recognizing that those voices in your head of things that aren't true. Because I think that's such a great first step to reversing a lot of that and reminding yourself of the truth. And the truth is that you get to do these things. You get to be there. And you get to walk by the Sydney Opera House. And as your friend, I couldn't be happier for you. I celebrate that your dreams are literally coming true. You dreamed of traveling, and you're there.
It's insane. Thank you. I wonder, I know we're wrapping up soon, but I wonder, do you have anything in your life that you realize you didn't let yourself enjoy because it was clouded with worries or beating yourself up?
Wow, that's a really good question. Um, I think a lot of my time spent studying music. So I ended up graduating with an English literature degree, but before that, I was a vocal music major. Then was like, I'll never make money in this. I'll just transition to English literature because that's better. Ha.
Super
Anyway,
lucrative.
yes,
Soups Luke's.
I'm rolling in the dough right now. So, but so much of my time was spent worrying about being technically right on, or what is so and so going to think, or like, I can't let people down because I, am this thing. Oh, well, there's Carrie King and she sings, and like I gotta stay at the top of the heap in my mind. And now I'm like, what a waste. You could have been thinking about the lyrics to the song. You could have
Oh
been,
my God, yes.
could have been interpreting the character. You could have been that character when you were singing the song. Not only are you singing the song, like you get to dip into somebody else's consciousness. Like these are all the things you could have been leaning into. And I was so caught in all of that noise. And so I think if I could do it over again, I spent 2 years in that program, and I would have checked myself and told myself, like we talked about in earlier episodes, you're not the point. You're part of the electrical circuit that is art and interpretation and making a character, and that's exciting. I feel like I missed out on that.
I think I ask this stuff because not so that we can go back together and shame ourselves for the things we didn't enjoy, but that we have an opportunity every day to look at what we're doing and find the joy now, so that we don't have to look back and say, like, I miss days that I was just singing every day, or I miss days that I was, able to squeeze my babies. And, just, I think every day, every season has that in it. And I'm like viciously wiping my nose with my hands right now. I'm going to go wash my hands. Sorry. But like, yeah, every day has that stuff in it that we can celebrate and enjoy, and also know that it's going to be over when it's bad as well. If we spent our whole winter, those of you who love winter, sorry, but this is my bad season. If we spent our whole winter holed up in our house shivering, being mad about winter, we wouldn't be able to enjoy all of the things that were happening outside that we, so I just think, I don't know. I'm doing that in my mind right now with my work and with where I'm physically able to be. And I just want to encourage everyone to find the joy there so that we don't miss out on this time. It'll
And
be over soon.
to be clear too, I think you can do this at any age. Like it doesn't matter if you're 90 or you're 19 or whatever, like anywhere in between or whatever age you are. Like I think there's always time to learn from things of the past and move forward and make a new season. So I certainly I just didn't want anyone to think that it was just, this is just for the young people or the middle-aged people. Like seasons can happen at any age. So
yep, absolutely. We've all got them.
That's right.
For sure.
That's right. Oh, well, thanks for talking with me.
Thank you. I haven't snotted this much on an episode yet, so I
love it.
I'm really glad that I didn't have a tissue ready.
I mean, I'm here for the hand snotting.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, Emily, how can people get a hold of us? Oh, by the way, we are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. Yes, we are also live on our website, Honestly Dear Listener. We are on YouTube. We are so many. I know. We are so many places. There's so many options.
It's true. We know you have options when it comes to listening to us, and we appreciate that you choose to.
Yeah.
You know.
So flattering. Like, what, people want to hear what we have to say?
Oh, God, I hope so.
I know.
Thank you.
Well, here's the deal. We want to hear what you have to say, too. This is a two-way conversation. Please reach out to us on social media or comment on YouTube or hit us up on our email, honestlydearlistener@gmail.com. All those places. We would love to hear from you. And Emily, would you like to tell them about how they can support us?
How about Patreon?
Yay!
Patreon's a great place to support people that are making things that you care about. And we hope that you would like to support us in the things that you care about that we're talking about. So you can support us monetarily, which would be super nice through Patreon, because believe it or not, this shit ain't free. You also can support us by talking to us. We really do want to know what do you think about this stuff? Make it mostly nice. I mean, just kidding.
And
if I could just set that up.
What do you want to
What do you want to hear about? Yep. And do you have any experiences that make you like, oh, that's me. I also feel that way. We want to hear about it, because you guys know, because you're artists, hearing that people relate to what you're doing and saying, that it matters to them, that's a huge support also. Absolutely. So if you can like our posts, if you can tell us stuff, you can email us, you can, if you happen to have money that you want to donate to us so that we can keep talking about things, well, those are all great ways. So thank you for being here and listening to us and supporting us in whatever way you can.
Yes, thank you, dear listener. All right, until next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.